Hello, I'm Anne, a retired nurse from Ohio who never thought I'd be telling you this. I spent decades stitching up kids who'd never walk again, holding hands as hearts flatlined, Tom's too, numbing me to anything I couldn't grip. Then one night, my heart stopped cold in my own kitchen, right between the stove and the sink. I was gone, dead, for 8 minutes. What I saw changed everything. I met Jesus, and he showed me something wild. World leaders racing toward war, a third one, big enough to end us. But he said love could stop it. I didn't believe in miracles until my heart attack showed me this truth. We're on the edge, and I'm back to warn you. Stick with me, because what's coming next might just save us all, if we listen. What did he mean by love? I'll get there, but first, let's start that night. That morning started like any other. Quiet, routine, mine. I woke up at 6, shuffled to the kitchen, and brewed coffee in my old pot. The house was still, just me and the hum of the fridge. I'm a widow now. My husband, Tom, passed 5 years ago. So it's been me and this little Ohio place ever since. My son Daniel lives an hour away, calls Sundays, checks in. I pulled on my sweater, stirred sugar into my mug, and flipped on the radio. Some news guy droned about Ukraine, Russia, the US. Same old mess. I snorted, muttered, good luck fixing that. Cynical? Sure, but I'd seen too much as a nurse to buy hope on airwaves. I planned my day. Groceries, maybe bake cookies for the neighbor kid. Simple stuff. By evening, I'd be cooking stew, alone but content. That's how it always went, until it didn't. See, I didn't know my heart was ticking down, ready to stop. What happens when your normal day turns into your last? I found out that night, and it's why I'm here now, because something bigger was waiting. Evening crept in slow, the way it does in Ohio winter, dark by 5, air sharp with cold. I stood at the stove, stirring beef stew, the smell filling my little kitchen. Radio was on low, some talk about sanctions, Ukraine, threats, same noise I'd ignored all day. I figured it didn't touch me, not here. Then it hit, a pinch in my chest, small at first like indigestion. I rubbed it, kept stirring. Thought maybe I'd overdone the salt. But then it grew. Sharp, heavy, like a fist squeezing my ribs. I dropped the spoon, grabbed the counter, gasped. Heart attack. I knew it from years nursing, but knowing didn't stop it. My knees buckled, vision blurred, and I hit the tiled floor hard. As I fell, the pain softened, a hum rising, like the fridge but everywhere. Then I was gone. Heart stopped, breath gone, dead for 8 minutes. Stew bubbled on, radio hummed, but I was somewhere else, seeing what Jesus wanted me to see. Neighbor found me later, saw the light on, knocked, no answer. Paramedics shocked me back, but those 8 minutes, I wasn't here. What flips a quiet night into a warning for the world? That's where it starts. My death, his voice, a message about war and love. But how did I get from that floor to him? Hang on, because what I saw out there changes everything you think you know about, right now. Picture this, a nurse, cynical and tired, flat on her back, then yanked into something huge. It's not just my story, it's yours too, if you keep listening. What did he show me first? That's where the real shock begins. I didn't feel the floor anymore. 1 second I was gasping, the next I was up, floating, light, like I'd shed my own skin. I looked down and saw me, Anne, sprawled on the kitchen tiles, eyes wide open, still. The stew was simmering, steam curling up, but I wasn't breathing. 8 minutes, they'd say later. Dead. I didn't panic though. It was calm, like watching a movie of myself. Then I heard banging, My neighbor, Jim, at the door, yelling my name. He burst in, dropped to his knees, started CPR. I saw the paramedics rush in, rip my sweater, slap paddles on my chest. Zap! My body jolted, but I didn't feel it. I was above it all, detached. Then a voice called, soft but clear, "Tom, my husband." I turned and there he was, standing in this warm glow, same flannel shirt he wore when he died. "Anne," he said, eyes urgent. "You're not done. Daniel's waiting. The world needs you." His words hit deep, and I ached to hold him, but he pointed behind me, firm. A light, brighter than anything, pulled me away. Tom faded, and I drifted toward it. Was this death? Heaven? I didn't know yet, but I felt it. Something huge was coming. 8 minutes of nothing here, but everything there. What was that light? Who was waiting? I couldn't stay with Tom, not yet. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't just about me dying. It was about why I'd come back. Stick with me, because what I saw next isn't just some afterlife tale. It's a warning, and you're part of it. How does a nurse floating over her own body end up with a message for the world? That's where Jesus steps in. And what he showed me first will make you question everything happening out there today. That light swallowed me whole. Not blinding, but warm. Like stepping into summer after a long Ohio freeze. I wasn't floating anymore. I stood on something solid, but it wasn't ground. More like a pulse beneath my feet. Ahead, a figure waited. Tall, steady, radiating something I can't name. Peace, maybe, but stronger. I knew him instantly. Jesus. No halo, no robes like the paintings. Just a man with eyes that saw through me. Kind but firm. "Anne," he said, voice like a river. "Look at what's coming." I didn't move, but the air shifted, and I saw Ukraine's fields burning, Russia's tanks rolling, American cities tense with anger. Leaders shouted, pointing fingers, missiles poised like vipers. World War III. He didn't say it, but I felt it, heavy as my old nurse's bag. "This is where they're heading," he said. "Ukraine, Russia, the US, puppet strings of pride and power." I stared, my cynic's brain spinning. Me, a nurse from nowhere, seeing this? He stepped closer and I swear the air hummed. "But it's not set," he said. "Love and understanding can stop it, if they choose." I blinked. Love? After decades of blood and bandages, that sounded naive. He smiled like he heard my doubt and waved his hand. The scene changed. People, not leaders, reaching out, hands linking, voices rising. "This is the fight," he said. "Not theirs, theirs." He pointed down, to Earth, to you. I felt small, but he wasn't done. "You'll go back," he said, "and tell them." "Tell who? How?" My mouth opened, but no words came. He didn't wait. He turned and the light pulsed, pulling me deeper. What did he mean? They. I was just a widow with a stopped heart. Why me? But then it hit. This wasn't about me. It's about what's barreling toward us all. Hang on. This isn't just some vision. It's why I'm here talking to you. What he showed next made my old nurse's hands shake. Because it's real, and it's close. How does love stop a war? He had an answer, but first I had to see the lie we're all living. Leaders twist truth, but he peeled it back. War's roots aren't what you think. Stay with me, because this gets wilder, and you'll need to hear what's behind their noise. Something darker drives it. What was that lie? It's coming, and it'll flip everything you trust upside down. Ready for the real shock? The light dimmed, and Jesus pointed again. Earth spun into focus, but not like I knew it. Cities glowed with screens, phones, TVs, billboards, blaring leaders' voices. Ukraine's president vowed defiance. Russia's growled threats. America's preached strength, all looped, loud, endless. People stared, nodded, like moths to flame, eyes glazed. "This is the deception," he said, voice cutting through. "They sell fear as truth." I saw it. Headlines twisted facts, speeches hid agendas, each side stoking rage. Crowds cheered, divided, blind to the strings. Pride, power, greed. "They're not fighting for you," he said, "but over you." I frowned. Me, a nurse, I'd seen people cling to news like gospel. But this, it was bigger, orchestrated. The vision zoomed. Soldiers marched, kids cried, all while leaders sat safe, smug. "Fear blinds them," he said, "but love sees." I shivered. Love again? How? The screens flickered, showing neighbors turning on neighbors, families splitting. "This is their weapon," he said. "Division." I got it. War wasn't just bombs. It was us unraveling. But why show me? "You'll see," he said, and the vision shifted. "But how deep does it run?" He showed my part next. "Hang on. This isn't some distant tale. It's now. Your screen, your street. What's the next piece?" He took me deeper. My life, your choices, all tied to this. How does division grow into war? You'll need to hear what I saw next. It's closer than you think. Stay with me now, please. The vision blurred and I was falling. Not scary, but fast, into a tunnel of light. Scenes flashed. Me snapping at a patient. Dim. Comforting a dying man. Bright. My life unspooling. Jesus watched, silent. "Your choices," he said early. "They ripple." The tunnel spun wider. My anger darkening a wife's eyes. Kindness lifting a stranger. "It's all tied," he said, "to what's coming." Coming? War? I saw me scoffing at news, ignoring Daniel's worries about the world. Dim. Then baking for neighbors, listening to their fears. Bright. "Love builds," he said. "Fear tears." I got it. My little life fed into this war thing. But how? The tunnel slowed, and I saw faces. Ukraine, Russia, America. People I'd never met, but their choices glowed or dimmed too. "We're linked," he said. "Linked? Me to them?" I was a nurse, not a diplomat. He nodded like he heard me. "Every act matters," he said. The tunnel faded, but I felt it. My cynicism had dimmed something, somewhere. "You'll see more," he said, and I braced myself. My life fed it. But the future it builds, that's where it ends. This wasn't just a rewind. It was a map. Hang on. Because what he showed next ties my life to yours, to this war brewing. How does a nurse's choices stop World War III? It's not what you think. Not yet. Stay here because the future he unveiled next flips it all upside down. Your choices glow or dim too. Did you know that? He showed me how it all connects. My kitchen, your life, their wars. What's the next step in this puzzle? It's coming, and it's bigger than you can guess right now. From my choices to this, Earth snapped into a new scene, her future choking me with dread. Cities stood gray, silent, screens everywhere, giant ones on buildings, small ones in hands. Leaders' faces loomed, Ukraine, Russia, US, smiling now but cold, their voices synced, saying, "Peace, trust us." People shuffled, heads down, eyes blank, like drones. No war raged, yet something worse had won. "This is their endgame," he said. "Control through fear's ashes." I saw it. Division had morphed into chains. Neighbors didn't fight anymore. They didn't speak. Families sat apart, staring at screens, fed the same lies. "They traded love for this," he said, voice heavy. I shivered. "Love gone? How?" The air thickened, showing kids taught to obey, not question. Soldiers replaced by machines. "Fear built this," he said, "but understanding can unravel it." Unravel? Me? A nurse? Undo this? I saw flickers, people waking up, talking, resisting, but faint, fragile. "It's not done," he said. You'll warn them. Warn who? How? This was bigger than my kitchen, my life. He pointed down. Earth again. Now. Not then. It starts here, he said. Starts? My chest tightened. This future wasn't far. Hang on. This isn't sci-fi, it's us, sliding toward it. What flips this future back? He showed me. But at first, I had to feel his power. Because this isn't just about leaders. It's you, me, now. Stay with me. What's next ties this nightmare to your day. Picture your street like this. Silent, controlled. It's not bombs that end us, but apathy. He saw it coming. Did you? The next vision shows why love matters more than you think. Right now, please. The gray future dissolved, and Jesus turned to me, his presence swelling. Bigger, brighter, like the sun cracking through Ohio fog. I felt small, a nurse in scrubs, not ready for this. His eyes locked on mine, and I swear I saw galaxies spinning in them. Time, souls, everything. Look deeper, he said, voice rumbling like thunder, but soft too. The air split, and I saw, really saw. Spirits moved, invisible on Earth, but here, clear. Some dark, twisting leader's words, some bright, nudging love. This is the war, he said, not just flesh. I blinked. Spiritual? Me, cynical Anne, seeing this? He nodded. You felt it. Anger in your kitchen, hope in your hands. I had. Those dim and bright moments. It's all a battle, he said. The vision widened. Ukraine's fields, Russia's streets, America's cities. Dark threads coiled, feeding fear, division. They don't see, he said. But you will. Me? I trembled. His power pressed me, not crushing, but lifting. Love cuts these, he said, pointing. Every kind word, every hand you hold slices through their fear. I saw bright spirits weave through, sparking kindness. Small acts, like mine with patience. Understanding binds them, he said. Binds? I saw people talking, listening, threads snapping. This is why you're here, he said. My heart raced. Me, a widow, part of this? His light flared, and I saw deeper, souls choosing every day, fear or love. It's not leaders alone, he said. It's them. Them, you, me, everyone. I felt it. His strength, not just power, but truth. You'll carry this, he said. Carry? How? I wasn't a preacher, just a nurse. He smiled, knew my doubt. You've seen enough, he said, and the vision shifted. Hang on. This isn't just mystic stuff. It's real in your life now. What he showed next ties this war to your choices. Because it's not just out there. It's here, in us. How does a nurse fight a spiritual war? Stay with me. It's about to get clearer. He peeled back the lie driving this mess. Leaders are pawns too. What's the real enemy? You'll see it next, and it's not what you expect. It's closer than you think. Look around you today. This is your fight too. Ready to see it? Please, don't miss this. It's urgent, trust me. The vision sharpened, and Jesus stepped closer, his light steady, piercing. This is the lie, he said, waving at the chaos. Leaders, screens, threads. They think it's power, but it's slavery. I frowned. Slavery? He pointed, and I saw Ukraine's leader, Russia's, America's, all tethered by those dark threads, not pulling them, but pulled. Pride blinds them, he said, and fear binds you. Me? I saw it. People glued to news, raging, divided, feeding the threads. It's a tool, he said, to control. Control? I saw deeper. Those threads weren't random. They pulsed from something bigger, darker, not human. Not them, he said. It, the shadow, behind every shout, twisting pride into chains. It? My nurse's brain reeled. Spiritual evil? He nodded. It splits you. Love from need, truth from hope. I saw it. Families torn, neighbors cold, all chasing fear's bait. They don't see, he said, but you do. Do I? I felt my own cynicism, dim, feeding it. You've lived it, he said, showing me, snapping at Daniel, ignoring Tom's pleas to care. It grows, he said, unless you fight. Fight? Me? I saw bright threads flare, kindness, listening, love, cutting dark ones. This is the weapon, he said, not theirs. Theirs. Leaders. No, us. It uses them, he said, to break you. Break us. I saw it. War is a symptom, not the disease. Love heals, he said. Understanding frees. I got it. This thing thrived on division, not bombs. You'll tell him, he said. Tell? How? I was no prophet. He smiled. Knew me. You've seen, he said, and the vision darkened. Hang on. This isn't just about leaders or war. It's us, feeding or starving this thing daily. What he showed next splits hope from despair. Your choice matters. How do we fight what we can't see? Stay here. It's about to hit harder. This lie's roots run deep, deeper than you think. What's it hiding? You'll see. And it's urgent, because it's winning right now. Don't miss this. The darkness thickened, and Jesus led me deeper, his light a thin thread in the gloom. Watch, he said, and I saw souls, countless, drifting in a void. Faces I knew. Neighbors, patients, blank, eyes dull, like they'd forgotten who they were. This is its harvest, he said, voice low. Harvest? I saw them. People who'd chased fear, division, screens. Now husks, no spark. It takes their hope, he said, then their selves. I shivered. Me, a nurse, I'd seen despair, but this, total. I saw a woman, maybe me, screaming at a TV, then silent, staring, gone. Fear hollows, he said. Love fills. Fills. I looked. Others glowed, faint but firm, holding hands, praying, resisting. These fight, he said. Warriors of light. Warriors? I saw an old man sharing bread, a kid hugging a stranger, small acts, every kindness cutting the dark, bright. They keep it at bay, he said. It that evil? I saw dark threads recoil from them, weaker. Hope holds, he said. Understanding strengthens. I got it. This wasn't just losing life, but losing us. It wants this, he said, showing more. Masses shuffling, no laughter, no tears. Just nothing. My chest tightened. I'd fed that nothing, snapping at Daniel, shutting out the world. You've seen, he said. You can choose. Choose? Me? I saw those warriors, ordinary, like me, baking, listening. This is the line, he said. Hope or despair. I saw it. 2 paths, one dim, one bright. It's not too late, he said. Late. I saw my kitchen, me, cynical, or me, caring. You're here for them, he said, pointing at the lost. Them. You. Everyone. I felt his urgency. This void was growing. Love pulls them back, he said. Pulls? I saw a soul flicker, reached for, saved. You'll show them, he said. Show? How? I was no hero. He smiled. Knew me. You've lived it, he said, and the void shifted. Hang on. This isn't just some afterlife scene. It's us, losing ourselves now. Your phone, your fights. What he showed next sets the stakes. Total control or freedom. How do we choose hope over this? Stay here. It's about to peak. This isn't abstract. It's your day, your choice. Right now. He showed me the endgame. Control's final grip. Can we pull back? You'll see, but it's urgent. Because this void is closer than you think. Look around. Your life's part of it. Ready to fight back? Please, don't wait. This is real and it's now. Don't let it win. You can change it right this second. The void cracked open, and Jesus raised his hand. Light flared, showing me the end. Earth stretched below, a nightmare stitched tight. Cities pulsed with screens. Every wall, every wrist. Leaders' faces frozen. Ukraine, Russia, US, all one voice. Obey. People moved like shadows, no fight, no questions, just blank stares. This is it, he said. Total control. I saw it. Dark threads thickened, choking everything, souls dimmed to nothing. Fear won, he said, voice heavy. Won. I saw kids with chips in their hands, eyes dead, parents nodding to lies. It owns them, he said. Owns? My nurse's heart sank. Freedom gone, hope erased. This is its throne, he said, pointing at a world silent, grey. I saw my kitchen. Me. If I'd kept feeding fear, staring at a screen. Lost. It's not set, he said. Not set? The vision split. 2 paths. 1. This controls grip. Soul's hollow. 2. Light. People waking, talking, loving. Threads snapping. Love breaks it, he said. Understanding freeze. I saw it. Small acts like mine. Rippling. Cities alive again. Families whole. You choose, he said. Me? I saw Daniel. Dim if I failed. Bright if I fought. This is why, he said. You're back. Back? My heart pounded. I died for this. They don't see, he said. But you do. Do I? I saw you. Yes, you. On path 1 or 2. Dim or glowing. It's now, he said. Now? I saw my life. Cynicism dimming. Care glowing. Tipping it. You'll lead, he said. Led. I was a nurse, not a savior. He smiled. Knew me. You've seen, he said. And the light pulsed. The controlled world loomed. Machines hummed. No laughter, no tears. Just cold order. This is their end, he said. Unless you act. Act? I saw warriors. Ordinary folks. Resisting. Bright. Growing. 2 futures, he said. 1 choice. Choice? I saw your street. Silent or alive, your kids lost or laughing. It's yours, he said, pointing at you. Mine. Ours. I felt it. This wasn't far. It's close. Creeping. Fear built this, he said. Love can tear it down. Tear down? I saw a woman, maybe you, smashing a screen, waking others. It starts small, he said, but grows. Grows? I saw waves, kindness spreading, threads breaking. You're the spark, he said. Spark? Me, a widow, a nurse? Yes, he said, eyes fierce. I saw my death. 8 minutes to see this. Tell them, he said. Tell? I saw your face, your choice tipping it too. It's not just me, he said. It's us, you, me, now. The paths burned. Control or freedom, dark or light. Choose, he said, voice urgent. I felt it. Time slipping. This future near. Hang on. This isn't just a vision. It's us, teetering now. Your day, my warning. Your phone. My kitchen. What tips it? He showed me, but first I woke up. Back from 8 minutes dead, gasping, changed. Stay here. It's not over. This is your world, your fight. Right now. Can we stop this? You'll see how, but it's urgent. Closer than you think. Look around. Your life's in this. Don't wait. Choose now, please. This isn't tomorrow. It's today. Your breath. Your choice. I saw it. To warn you. Act or it wins. Your kids. Your street. Gone. Love can save us. Start small. Start now. I'm back for this. You're here for it too. Don't miss it. Please, fight back today. This is real. Don't let it take us. You're the key. Act now. Please, don't delay. It's urgent now. The light snapped off and I gasped. Back on my kitchen floor, tiles cold under me. Paramedics shouted, "She's back!" Paddles buzzing, my chest aching. I'd crossed over, but I felt it, his voice still in me. Tell them. Them. You. I coughed, eyes blurry, stew burned on the stove, air thick with smoke. Anne, stay with us, a medic yelled. But I wasn't just here. I'd seen it. War's roots, control's end. My heart raced, not from the attack, but urgency. I had to warn you. World leaders from Ukraine, Russia, US, hurtling toward World War III. But love could stop it. I'm okay, I croaked, pushing up. But was I? My kitchen felt small, unreal after that. The medic frowned. You were gone. 8 minutes. I nodded. I knew. I'd seen Jesus, the threads, the void. I have to tell, I mumbled, but he grabbed my arm. Rest, Anne. Rest? No, time was slipping. I saw Daniel's face in my mind, dim or bright, my choice. I wanted to sink, let doubt win, stay the cynic I'd been, but his voice burned louder. Tell them. I've got to, I said, stronger, shoving past him, fire breaking through. The radio crackled. News. Same old threats. I froze. It was real, what he showed me. Happening now. My hands shook. I'd been cynical, blind, feeding it. No more, I whispered, turning it off. I had to act. Start small, tell you. But doubt hit. Who'd believe me? A nurse, widowed, half dead. You've seen, his voice echoed, steadying me. Seen. Yes, I had. I stumbled to my feet, medics protesting, but I felt it. Purpose. Burning. I'm not crazy, I said. To them, to myself. I'd come back with this. Love, understanding, the only way. I saw your world, your fights, your screens, sliding toward that end. I have to try, I said, stepping outside. Cold air hit me. Ohio night, but alive. I wasn't the same. Cynicism cracked, replaced with this fire. Hang on, I'm back. But it's not done. I've got to reach you. Because this is real now. How do I start? Stay here. I'll show you what's next. I stood outside, Ohio wind biting, my voice ready. But who'd listen? I called Daniel first, phone trembling in my hand. Mom? He answered, sleepy. I died, I said. Saw Jesus. War's coming. Love's the way. Silence. You're tired, he said. Rest. Rest? No, I snapped. It's real. Ukraine, Russia, US, what a way. He sighed. Mom, please. My chest sank. My own son didn't believe. I hung up, fire fading, doubt creeping. Next day I tried neighbors, Jim, who'd found me. I've seen symptoms escalate. Fear's the pulse driving war now. Love's the cure, I said. He stared. Anne, you hit your head. I crossed over and came back, I yelled. But he backed off, eyes wide. I tried the store. Cashier, strangers. I've tracked life's decline. This war's next. Love can stop it. They smiled, nodded, walked away. Crazy, Anne, I heard, whispers stinging. My throat tightened. Nobody cared. I sat home, radio on, news again, threats louder, Ukraine's borders tense, Russia's moves bold, US voices sharp. It's happening, I whispered, seeing his vision, threads growing. I'd failed. My death for nothing? You've seen! His voice nudged, soft, seen. Yes, and signs matched. Neighbors yelling over Ukraine news. Daniel's calls clipped. Too busy. Fear in his tone. I stood, fire flickering back. They'll see, I said, grabbing a pen. Write it, share it. But who'd read? Doubt gnawed. I was no prophet, just a nurse. Then it hit. Real signs. Division everywhere. Screens blaring. It's now, I said, urgency surging. I'd keep trying. Small steps you'd hear. Hang on. I'm fighting, but it's tough. Stay. I'll prove it's real. This is it. My last shot to reach you. I'm Anne, a nurse, widowed. Back with this. World leaders, Ukraine, Russia, US, are racing to war. WW3, and it's closer than you think. Jesus showed me. Fear's the trap, splitting us, feeding control. I saw it. Screens lying, threads choking, souls fading. Love stops it, he said. Understanding frees. But nobody listens. Daniel, neighbors, they call me crazy. I'm not. I died for this. Look around, your fights, your news. It's happening now. I tried, yelled, wrote, begged. But it's on you too. Reject the trap, fear's lie, division's game. Choose love, turn off the news. Talk face to face, rebuild trust. Start today. I saw two paths, control's gray grip or freedom's light. We're teetering. Your choice tips it. You're enough. He told me, You are too. My kitchen's where it hit me. Yours can be where it stops. I'm fighting. Pen in hand, voice hoarse. But I need you. This isn't just my warning. It's yours. Faith's the spark. Trust it. Use it. Hang on. It's not over. But it's urgent. Closer than your next breath. I died to tell you. Fight fear with connection today. Or it's over. You're the key. Do it now.